and Trump and Biden. I know you two men are afraid to actually be in a debate stage where you're going to argue about something that's more important than your golf score, where you're actually going to have to be coherent and actually have to defend your ideas. And I know that makes you scared. There are two more that were invited to participate in this debate that want to be an independent outside of the two-party choice, but didn't take the time to come challenge those ideas on the debate stage.
I would note that the two independents have never shown up for debates, though one of them pleads for open debates, but is not willing to do that himself.
Bobby Kennedy, you made chickens that you used where you wanted to go after Biden and Trump. They wouldn't let you on the stage. So my question to Mr. Kennedy, since he doesn't want to be up here with us, is can we just recycle your chickens?
How would you fix the inflation crisis affecting cost of living?
If you're simply throwing in dollars and you have a fixed pot of goods and services, you're going to drive inflation. The military expenditures have been hugely inflationary, yet that is not actually growing the economy. 1 out of every $3 in healthcare right now is spent basically on bureaucracy and paper pushing. And by moving to a Medicare for all system, we basically trim the waste out of healthcare. We can actually save $500 billion a year at the same time that we massively expand healthcare.
In every single facet of our economy, the government does too much, makes too many decisions, and moves our money around. Just because I don't want the government to do something doesn't mean that I don't want communities to gather around themselves and do it ourselves.
I feel like I'm having deja vu when President Reagan said, the worst thing you want to hear is, hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. One of the greatest things that we could do to boost the economy is fire government employees.
How would you put an end to the child sex trafficking epidemic in the United States?
Execute the people involved in kidnapping and child sex trafficking.
Public executions.
All right, maybe that's a little much. They need
So much of what we do is we live in an over-criminalized society that makes it hard for police to actually put their eye on the ball on the real violence that's occurring. We need to solve the border crisis. We need to make it easier for peaceful people to come in here and do those jobs and get hired by Randall outside of Home Depot. We can then put our eye on the ball with the people who are trying to traffic people across our border for the purposes of labor or sexual exploitation.
The most important thing we can do is to stop causing it in the first place by regime change.
Do you support protecting presidents from prosecutions for potential crimes committed during their term?
If I'm President of the United States, I should be undergoing the same criminal code as anybody else. No one should be above the law.
This is not a monarchy. This is a democracy.
Do you support the use of sanctions as a tool of diplomacy?
It would be better than shooting if we can use the dollar to leverage something. But my problem is human rights.
When we sanction a government, that doesn't really hurt the big people. That doesn't hurt the money movers and the influencers. That hurts the average person. When we sanction Russia, Vladimir Putin did not suffer. Trust me, he still has plenty of wealth and influence in his country. The people who suffer from those sanctions are the individuals in Russia, those who cannot get along because their economic picture has been crushed by our sanctions.
Would you support stricter environmental regulations to hold polluters accountable?
If we want to reduce the amount of carbon output that the United States military is doing, we need to stop having them bomb and kill people all over the world and engage in wars around the world.
Government regulation is vulnerable, it's fraught, and it needs to be transparent, watchdogged, exercised at the community level, exposed and debated.
And you've heard the term bipartisan. Some days I feel transpartisan.